My boyfriend was having a birthday party. A younger female student from the same department lost a game of rock, paper, scissors and had to kiss him. I reminded him, Devlin, if you dare to mess around, our relationship is over. But Devlin draped his arm over the girl's shoulder, looked at me irritably, and said, Jessica, the junior student and I are just like siblings. Don't make a mountain out of a molehill. A conservative girl like you wouldn't understand. Hearing that, I immediately blocked his contact and left. The junior student told him, Devlin, don't indulge girls like her. Just wait a few days and she'll definitely come back and apologize. Devlin believed her. Until a few days later, he caught me being pressed against a wall by the school's heartthrob, who held my waist tightly and kissed me deeply. Due to losing a bet, Kaylin had to choose a person of the opposite sex and kiss them for 3 minutes. Amidst the loud cheering, she looked awkwardly toward Devlin. Everyone looked at him too, including me. Devlin lowered his eyes, fiddling with the dice in his hand, his profile cold and showing no clear emotion. Kaylin nudged his elbow and said, Devlin, I have no choice. I have to ask you for help. Sister-in-law, you don't mind, do you? Don't worry, Devlin and I are genuinely just good friends. I didn't bother looking at her. My eyes were fixed only on Devlin. Devlin, the shot of liquor just now made me feel a little unwell. Can you take me home? I deliberately gave him a chance, a way out for both of us. Devlin was about to get up when Kaylin quickly yelled, Devlin, it's only this early. Does sister-in-law manage you so strictly? Today is your birthday. You go with sister-in-law. I'll find someone else. The moment she finished speaking, I saw Devlin's face darken. He immediately grabbed Kaylin's hand. His eyes were full of dissatisfaction. Did I say I wouldn't cooperate? Kaylin smugly glanced at me and said, Devlin is the best. Only then did Devlin seem to realize something. He looked at me with a comforting gaze. Jessica, wait a few minutes. I'll take you home when this is done. I cut him off, looking him straight in the eye, and repeated coldly, If you dare to mess around, we're finished. The atmosphere froze. Everyone stared blankly at Devlin and me. No one expected me to embarrass him in public like this. Devlin's face instantly darkened. He said, How many times have I told you? Kaylin is like a sister to me. I can't just sit by and watch her kiss someone else when she's facing something like this. After hearing that, I laughed bitterly through my anger and retorted, She can't kiss someone else. But kissing you is fine, right? Devlin, don't forget. You have a girlfriend. Kaylin immediately jumped in. Sister-in-law misunderstood. Frankly, Devlin and I kissing is just like brushing our teeth. Right, Devlin? Devlin chuckled at that comment, the corner of his lips curling up. He gave a faint, but I only felt disgusted and said, Then you two must be using a really cheap toothbrush. The smile on Kaylin's face froze and became awkward, while Devlin began to lose his patience. He frowned and chastised me. Why are you so unreasonable? It's just a small thing. Does it need to be dramatized? Forget it. A girl like you will never understand. Yes, I don't understand, nor do I want to. A bitter lump rose in my throat. I said, I just don't understand why I'm considered too conservative. Is it because I don't stay up all night at the internet cafe with them, don't drink, don't laugh, and hug shoulders that I'm too conservative? Devlin seemed to realize something and opened his mouth to explain. Jessica, I didn't mean that. Kaylin immediately clung to Devlin's arm. Their bodies almost stuck together, which was truly an eyesore. Her eyes were also reddening. Devlin, is sister-in-law saying she looks down on me? Facing her gaze, the coldness on Devlin's face gradually melted. He said, "She didn't mean that. I apologize to you on her behalf." I interrupted him, suppressing the sting in the corner of my eyes, and said coldly, "I don't think I said anything wrong, and you have no right to apologize for me." I then turned to look at Kaylin with a meaningful expression, laughing. I have to admit, your kind of sibling bond is truly touching. You wear the mask of a sibling while doing a girlfriend's job. I should give you an award for outstanding performance. Kaylin angrily said, "Sister-in-law, you're going too far." Devlin turned, protecting Kaylin in his arms. His eyes were full of reproach as he looked at me. "You've had too much to drink. Don't ruin everyone's fun. Go home first. I'll come to the dorm tomorrow and we'll talk clearly." I replied succinctly, "No need." Then I pulled out my phone and decisively blocked all contact with him. Devlin frowned and asked, "Jessica, what exactly are you doing?" I just grabbed my bag and walked out, turning back to wave and say, "We're broken up. Have fun kissing, you two siblings." Devlin looked like he was about to chase after me, but I heard Kaylin's honey-sweet voice ring out, "Devlin, a girl who overthinks things like her can't be indulged forever. I know best. Just ignore her for a few days, and she'll definitely come back and admit her mistake. You're so good. How could she bear to let go?" Devlin stood still. He actually believed Kaylin's ridiculous words. I clenched my jaw, forced back the lump in my throat, and didn't look back. My faint and suffocating first love ended after 81 days. I took a deep breath, but my tears still disobeyed, spilling out. I wiped them away, then heard rapid footsteps behind me getting closer. Is that Devlin? The thought quickly flashed and was dismissed. He was probably still busy kissing Kaylin in that private room. How could he be chasing me? I moved aside to dodge, but the footsteps remained close behind. A terrifying thought struck me, sending a chill down my spine, and sweat broke out. I started running, but the person behind me immediately sped up too. As I turned the corner of the hallway, the scent of alcohol hit me directly from behind. I didn't turn around, raising my bag to strike backward. No scream rang out as I expected. Instead, someone grabbed my bag. I let go, intending to keep running, but my waist was held tight. I screamed, "Let go, pervert!" A low, warm, male voice rang out, dissipating my fear. "Jessica, it's me, Andrew." I was stunned. Andrew? It was Andrew, the student council president famous throughout B University, the legendary campus heartthrob. I turned around and saw the face that made countless hearts melt. His eyes had a hint of red at the corners, seductively mesmerizing. I felt momentarily dazed and stammered, "President Andrew?" He didn't reply, just looked at me intently. Oh, right. I heard Kaylin also knows Andrew. He probably heard everything that happened in the room and is here to defend her. How annoying. Anger flared up. I sneered and said, "Did you come to seek justice for Kaylin, President? What admirable loyalty between siblings." Andrew quickly cut me off. His voice was suddenly rising, which startled me. "No, Jessica, I don't have any so-called sibling relationship with her. You broke up, so could you consider me?" He lowered his head, his eyes still fixed on me. His restrained expression was captivating, making me feel dizzy, my mind reeling. Initially, I thought I was just frightened by Andrew's words. I had never interacted with him before. He was the epitome of perfection. Handsome, from a good family, excellent grades, a person who made countless young men and women look up to him. Yet, he seemed completely devoid of feelings for women, always keeping his distance from everyone. Rumor had it that Kaylin was his only female friend. Yet now, he was confessing to me? In my confusion, I accidentally blurted out, "You like me?" I immediately regretted it, wanting to bite off my tongue. Oh my God, this is Andrew, bright as the full moon. How could I ask him so bluntly? I patted my burning face, forcing a smile to ease the tension. But the next second, I heard his definitive answer. Yes. My heart pounded like a drum. I just realized his hand was still placed on my waist. My mind was completely blank and I couldn't speak. My entire body began to heat up. It's so hot. Is the air conditioning broken? Suddenly, a cool hand rested on my forehead. I instinctively leaned into it, letting out a soft moan. So cool. Andrew's voice was low and worried, ringing in my ears. Are you running a fever? No, did you drink something? But my mind felt like it was on fire. The scene before my eyes was blurry. Only his impossibly handsome face and his thin, cool lips, like fruit jelly straight out of the fridge, were clear. As if possessed, I threw myself at him before I could even think. When our lips met, a sweet, fruity fragrance spread through my mouth, making me moan softly. Can I have another bite? Andrew seemed to take a sharp, cold breath. Just that sound was enough to pull me out of my daze. I blinked, my consciousness gradually clearing, and I met his eyes, deep as an abyss. The soft moonlight was gone, replaced by powerful undercurrents. I fully awoke, realizing what I had just done, and frantically tried to pull back. But his hand on my waist tightened, radiating intense heat. I trembled, unable to finish my sentence. President, I'm sorry. A hurried and chaotic kiss descended upon me again, sweeping me into a whirlwind of emotions that made it impossible to think of anything else. In the final moment, I only remembered his expression, his passionate gaze, and the sweat rolling down his straight nose. The dazzling morning sunlight streamed through the curtains, forcing me to blink several times to adjust. Opening my eyes, I saw Andrew's face inches away. I stared at his face. He was truly too handsome. His long, curved eyelashes, gentle eye corners, sharp eyebrows, and straight nose bridge all seemed sculpted. No wonder he held the title of school heartthrob for 3 years straight. Andrew suddenly opened his eyes, startling me. The chaotic memories of last night immediately rushed back. My ears burned, and I shyly avoided his gaze. He suddenly leaned closer. I panicked and closed my eyes, feeling his breath gently engulf me. Then I heard him chuckle softly in my ear. Be good. We'll kiss more later. Ding dong. The speaker from the nurse's station rang. I suddenly remembered that after I threw myself at Andrew last night, he took me to the hospital. I even said some nonsense on the way. What a chaotic and embarrassing night. My face was red as fire. I stammered, I'm just still a little dizzy. I didn't mean anything. Andrew replied gently, I know. Before the nurse walked in, he tilted his head and whispered in my ear, I'm the one who wanted to kiss you. I was dazed all the way back to the dorm. When I almost walked into a tree for the 3rd time, my waist was suddenly held tightly. I fell into Andrew's arms, enveloped by his familiar scent. He sighed softly, a little helpless. "Watch where you're going." His voice was gentle, the corners of his lips curved, like a willow branch by the river in early spring, lightly swaying, making one's heart flutter. I nearly lost my rationality, but managed to maintain a shred of awareness. I looked up, meeting his deep, dark eyes. "President, yesterday, I wanted to ask you, what do you mean? What are we now?" I didn't want this ambiguity to continue, but an unexpected phone call interrupted me. Andrew looked at the screen, and his eyebrows immediately furrowed. "Sorry, I need to take this call." I nodded, actively stepping aside to give him space. From the corner of my eye, I saw Andrew's face growing increasingly troubled. Finally, he quickly said to me, "I have to go out for a while. Jessica, wait for me to return." I opened my mouth, only to see him walking further and further away, until he disappeared from sight. Andrew seemed to vanish. For 3 consecutive days, there was no sign of him. I only heard that he had taken a leave of absence, but no one knew the reason. Not a single piece of information was available. If I didn't clearly remember his scent and that kiss, I would truly think that chaotic night was just a delusional dream of my own. I considered contacting him, but I hesitated. What if everything was just him letting loose because he was drunk? I was the one who made the first move. I couldn't tarnish his feelings any further. My mind was a mess, and I couldn't concentrate on anything. Suddenly, someone bumped into my shoulder. I instinctively lowered my head and apologized. "Sorry." Kaylin's sharp voice immediately pulled me back to reality. I looked up at her and saw her pretending to ask worriedly, "Oh, it's you? What's wrong? You look distracted. Is it because Devlin hasn't contacted you for a few days?" "I told you. Girls like you always overreact." Now look, Devlin is really angry. I didn't want to listen to her act, so I cut her off coldly. Devlin and I broke up. His business is no longer related to mine. To my surprise, Kaylin casually pulled down her collar, revealing faint blue and red bruises scattered on her neck. Her eyes were smug and provocative, as if she was waiting for me to go crazy with jealousy and pain. And she said, "That night you left, Devlin drank a little too much. And then, did I say too much?" In reality, my heart didn't ripple at all. It was only then that I realized all the traces Devlin had left in my heart had been completely erased by Andrew. The feeling of missing him surged like a tide, overwhelming me. I suddenly wanted to contact him, to ask him for a clear answer. I coldly walked past Kaylin, who was gloating like a petty villain who had gotten her way, and left her with one sentence. "Congratulations. I hope you 2 siblings lock yourselves up for life and never appear in front of me again." I thought I had been clear enough, but Kaylin still wasn't satisfied. She recorded our conversation and sent it directly to Devlin. Before I could even reach the dorm, Devlin blocked my path. His face clearly showed annoyance. "Jessica, how long are you going to keep causing trouble? I haven't looked for you these past few days. Haven't you figured things out yet?" I frowned. "Devlin, do you not understand human language? We are finished." He gritted his teeth. "Are you serious about this?" I was decisive. Rest assured, I never regret my decisions. Devlin's face darkened, and he turned and walked away. I let out a sigh of relief. Suddenly, I felt a burning gaze fixed directly on me. I looked up, and under the dim streetlights ahead, a tall figure stood. The pale yellow light stretched his shadow into a line, like a streak of moonlight on the ground. He stepped out of the darkness, his eyes never leaving mine. It was Andrew. the person who had disappeared for days. My heart pounded rapidly. Suddenly, I didn't know where to look to hide my embarrassment. Then, abruptly, my whole body fell into a warm embrace. His voice was low, ringing in the wind, seeping into my ears, carrying genuine and passionate emotion. "Jessica, I'm sorry. I missed you so much." At that moment, I was certain of one thing. Andrew truly liked me. The joy that swelled up swept away all previous hesitation. I wrapped my arms tightly around him, feeling his body momentarily stiffen. Then, he lowered his head, his lips carrying the coolness of the night, touching my ear. "Can I kiss you, my girlfriend?" That sentence made my heart tremble. Before I could even nod, his lips covered mine, gentle, intense, and passionate. I stood on my toes, trying to respond to him. His breathing gradually became ragged. Then he suddenly pulled back, his voice hoarse, clearly showing restraint. His ears were crimson, spreading down to his neck. "I'm sorry." I was still dazed when my eyes drifted downward, and I unconsciously blurted out a compliment. "Nice abs." Andrew chuckled softly, the deep sound vibrating against his chest, causing my heart to race. When I realized what I had just said, my face flushed red as if it were about to catch fire. "Stop laughing." I buried my face in his chest, hiding my embarrassment. A loud noise rang out behind us, followed by an angry roar. "You bastard! Do you have a death wish? Jessica, get over here right now!" I turned my head and saw Devlin charging toward us like a mad dog. Andrew stepped to the side, shielding me behind him. The murderous intent in Andrew's eyes made Devlin stop dead in his tracks. His voice choked. "Andrew, you knew Jessica was my girlfriend, and you still dared to touch her?" Andrew replied casually, his eyes cold as the night frost. "She was your ex-girlfriend. You two broke up 72 hours ago." Devlin roared. "But I never agreed!" I spoke up from behind Andrew. My voice was cold. "No one has the energy to play childish fake breakups with you. You have the guts to play ambiguous games with others and say things that make people ashamed to show their faces. So don't come here and bother me." Devlin still wouldn't admit he was wrong, and said, "Kaylin and I are just like siblings." Andrew chuckled, a clear hint of danger in his voice. "We're all men. Do you think I don't understand that kind of sibling relationship?" "Devlin, if you dare to appear in front of Jessica again, I won't hesitate to teach you a lesson." I had never seen Andrew like this. He was still himself, but no longer the gentle person I knew. He was a solid, towering mountain blocking me, shielding me from all the malicious storms of the world. In that moment, he was even more dazzling than the moon in the sky. Devlin finally backed down. Before leaving, he didn't forget to leave one last jab. "Jessica, you think Andrew is serious about you? He's just interested for a moment. Andrew's family is not easy to get into. I'll wait and see how you'll come crawling back and crying." I smiled faintly and retorted, "If you like it, keep it. If you don't, let it go. Don't play the harem lord game, embracing one after another. Be careful, or you'll end up losing everyone." Devlin pressed his lips together, then turned and walked away. I waved my hand. "Take your time. No need to see you out." As he walked me back to the dorm, Andrew suddenly spoke up. "I really like you." I froze, realizing he was refuting Devlin's words from earlier. I looked up. In the gentle moonlight, Andrew's eyes sparkled, seriously focused on me. Seeing my lack of reaction, he suddenly grew a little impatient. He raised his hand, showing 3 fingers. I swear. Do you believe me? Who would have thought our student council president could be so adorable? I couldn't help but burst out laughing. Andrew pretended to be angry and playfully pinched my waist. You dare to laugh? Stop laughing. He suddenly buried his head in my shoulder, letting out a soft sigh. Jessica, thank goodness it's you. Yes, thank goodness. It turns out love can be this beautiful. The next morning, Devlin was waiting under my dorm again. A pile of cigarette butts lay at his feet. His shirt was wrinkled. He looked like a complete failure. He still had alcohol stains on him, looking disheveled and pitiful. Although he looked somewhat pathetic, I only felt disgusted. I turned to walk away, but Devlin quickly put out his cigarette and approached. He deliberately tried to look pitiful. His voice was hoarse. I was wrong. Can you forgive me? If you come back, I can pretend nothing ever happened. I looked up at him and couldn't help but laugh. Devlin thought I was softening. His eyes lit up, and he reached out to grab me. I immediately took a step back, looking at him coldly. Devlin, don't you find yourself ridiculous? You were the one who cheated first, and now, after we've broken up, who are you trying to show this devoted facade to? He stammered. No, I was just momentarily confused. Jessica, I won't contact that girl anymore. I replied succinctly. That has nothing to do with me. We are over. Even if you don't agree, it's still over. With that, I walked past him, intending to leave. Suddenly, he seemed to go crazy, lunging forward and grabbing my arm. I cried out in panic, reflexively hitting his head with the book in my hand. Despite being hit, Devlin refused to let go. Suddenly, a figure rushed in from a distance and landed a kick on Devlin's back. He immediately fell sprawling to the ground. Andrew held me tightly. His eyes were full of fear and anger. He lowered his head, gently caressing the red mark on my wrist, and reassured me softly. I'll take you to the infirmary in a moment. Stand steady first. Andrew turned and punched Devlin in the face as he struggled to get up. Devlin tilted his head, spitting out a mouthful of blood. He gasped, glaring at Andrew. Jessica is mine. Don't you dare dream. Andrew landed another kick. Devlin, of course, wouldn't surrender, but his resistance against Andrew was like a mosquito bite on steel. I truly hadn't expected Andrew to be so good at fighting. As he swung his fist, the hem of his white shirt lifted, revealing his firm, powerful abs. In that ill-timed moment, the vivid memory of that night, when I missed a precious opportunity because of the alcohol, resurfaced in my head. Yes, I admit I am attracted to good-looking men, and Andrew perfectly matched my type, from his eyes to his nose to the strands of his hair. I was lost in thought when I heard Andrew's determined voice, every word ringing out forcefully. I looked up and saw him standing tall, forcefully pinning the half-lying Devlin to the ground. Jessica is Jessica. She doesn't belong to anyone. His eyes were cold as snow, his tone resolute, leaving no room for negotiation. But the moment he turned to look at me, the wind stopped, the snow melted, and spring arrived gently. My heart felt a resounding clap of thunder. The fight yesterday caused quite a bit of trouble. Andrew was summoned by the department head. I don't know what they discussed. When he came out of the office, he didn't say anything to me. I pestered him endlessly, until he finally sighed resignedly and told me. He had to write a 5,000-word self-criticism and received one internal warning. He said it lightly, but I was shocked. Andrew was always an outstanding student, and an internal warning was a stain on his record, especially since he was about to start his internship. Andrew placed his hand on my head, his palm warm, and said, "Don't worry, I've wanted to hit him for a long time." As for the reason why, he adamantly refused to say another word. Waking up from a nap, I was surprised to find myself trending on the school forum. It all stemmed from a post with a dramatic title, exposing the so-called pure darling of the Economics and Management Department for two-timing and causing a brawl between two campus heartthrobs. The news of Andrew pinning Devlin down yesterday was dissected, complete with photos. Andrew's and Devlin's faces were blurred, but mine was perfectly clear. The comment section exploded overnight. Most people believed it was true because someone claimed to be a witness yesterday. Andrew's personal information was also leaked, causing the post to spread even further. Some were curious to see my 3-point beauty, and Andrew's female fans commented angrily, not listening, not believing, unwilling to accept. Some even posted my student ID photo, candid shots, and pictures from various activities, accompanied by vulgar comments and malicious speculation. Although a few acquaintances stood up for me, everything was drowned in a dark wave of negativity, as if they wouldn't be satisfied until they destroyed me. I sat on my bed, still hearing the gossip in the hallway. Someone even knocked on my door. My roommate asked, "Jessica, do you know who posted this? Are you going to clarify?" I knew it, of course. That kind of venomous language could only come from Kaylin. But did I need to clarify? I looked down at the pinned message on WeChat, a message Andrew had sent 2 minutes ago. "Jessica, leave it to me." I sighed. Fine, I'll leave it to him. Then I curled my lips into a slight smile. My roommate suddenly shrieked, "Oh my God, did Devlin just add fuel to the fire?" I looked down at the phone. Sure enough, Devlin had left a comment right under the post. "Delete this post. Who the hell told you to interfere in my business with her?" That one sentence was both a warning and an unintentional confirmation of everything the post said. The forum immediately erupted. What could be more convincing than the person involved speaking up? In an instant, hundreds of comments flooded Devlin's way, questioning him relentlessly. He immediately started arguing back and forth with netizens. My roommate screamed as if a mole had been stepped on. "Hurry up! President Andrew just stepped in!" I was still a little fuzzy, but I hit refresh and saw Andrew's post from his main account, with the single title, "Jessica and Andrew." The image was a moment of him and me holding hands under the sunset. The gentle wind blew, and the hem of my blue skirt flew over his instep, like a watercolor painting slowly unfolding. Yes, this picture was taken yesterday, and Andrew was the one who insisted on taking it. My roommate frantically shook me. Jessica, you've really twisted the plot. You and President Andrew are truly a match made in heaven." Under the post, most were enthusiastic fans shipping us, though some mocked him as the third party who interfered. But Andrew didn't make anyone wait long. He posted a second entry. In it, he included a detailed timeline from when Devlin and I started dating to when we broke up, and then when he and I started seeing each other. He also exposed Devlin's clandestine relationship with Kaylin during the time he was dating me. The post released a series of intimate photos of Kaylin and Devlin in public, even a video, clearly and completely covering a period of nearly 3 months. Immediately, public opinion shifted, and netizens debated fiercely. Until someone pointed out a detail. The gap between when Jessica broke up and when she started dating Andrew was only 3 minutes. Was President Andrew waiting at the scene? A wave of suspicion washed over the forum. Some suggested Andrew might have been planning this for a long time. I froze. Was he truly planning it all along? I don't believe in the saying, "the clean will remain clean." People never give you medals for being virtuous. They only want to stain you, to make themselves look better. I only know that vengeance must be served. After Andrew spoke out, I also posted a rebuttal, accompanied by a video clip. The lighting was dim. In the clip, Kaylin and Devlin were hugging, laughing, and talking intimately. At the end of the clip, the camera panned over Devlin's pants, and Kaylin's voice rang out mockingly. "Gross, Devlin! You actually got hard from this? I guess sister-in-law has kept you starving for too long, huh?" Kaylin had sent me this video right after I returned from the hospital that day. I didn't reply but saved it, and now was the time to use it. The forum exploded. Kaylin and Devlin became the center of criticism, being cursed, reviled, and despised. And me? I went on a date. My first official date with Andrew. He took me to a lakeside restaurant. I was a little surprised. This was a place I often frequented. Andrew looked at me and smiled, but said nothing. He didn't look at the menu, but ordered all my favorite dishes. I grew more suspicious and looked at him intently. He said plainly, "I've liked you for a long time." I was stunned. Why did I have no memory of this? Andrew was the school heartthrob, 1 year ahead of me. I clearly remembered seeing him from afar during military training at the start of the year, but we never interacted. He pointed to the walkway across the lake and said, "You were standing there that day, hitting some pervert until he cried miserably." I suddenly remembered. That did happen. A pervert was harassing a little girl. I walked by, felt a surge of righteousness, and threw a few moves to take the guy down. When I stood up, the little girl looked more afraid of me than the pervert, and Andrew witnessed it all from afar. He chuckled and continued. "I saw a fierce, strong Jessica, and from that moment..." I defended myself awkwardly. "Actually, I don't usually fight." But realizing he had known and liked me for 2 years since then, I confessed honestly. "All right, I admit it. I've studied freestyle martial arts for 16 years. That pervert that day was the easiest person I've ever had to hit." The meal ended. We walked along the lakeside, then headed to Andrew's apartment. I was startled to see he had prepared a separate changing room for me. I quietly asked, "When did you do this?" He smiled and said, "About 2 years ago." I was speechless. Amidst the sweetness, a pang of sorrow arose. Who would have thought that a person like Andrew also had years of silent, unrequited love like any ordinary person? He stroked my head, leaned close to my ear, and said, "I'm going to take a shower first." I blushed and nodded. He teased softly, "Such a good girl, my girlfriend." What happened next? Warm water, soft lights, pounding hearts, and one thought flashed through my mind before I passed out in his arms. Everyone praises him for being handsome and having a good background, but no one knows that his body is even more breathtaking. Less than half an hour later, I received a strange text message from an unsaved number. "I'm sorry, she won't bother you anymore. Jessica, can we be friends?" I glanced at it, didn't hesitate, and immediately deleted the message and blocked the number. Lately, Andrew had been unusually busy. We hadn't even eaten a single meal together for 3 days, and as if seizing the opportunity, Devlin appeared again. This time, blocking me right under the dorm. He said, "I have something to tell you. Andrew is going abroad soon." I paused. Devlin seemed agitated, his voice raised. "Did he not tell you? The paperwork is all done. He's leaving next month." He took a step closer, his eyes bloodshot, looking at me with pleading sincerity. "Jessica, I know I was wrong. Rest assured, I've completely cut ties with Kaylin. Can we go back to how things were?" I moved to dodge his reaching hand, my eyes indifferent. "No." "I love Andrew," Devlin yelled, "but he's about to abandon you and leave." I smiled. "I know. Because we are going together." Devlin suddenly fell silent, as if choked. I looked at Devlin, feeling like he was about to shatter. But that was no longer my concern. That evening, Andrew rarely took the initiative to tell me about the years he spent in silent, unrequited love. "You once said you wouldn't date in college, right?" I remembered that a senior had been pestering me in my freshman year, and I had made up that excuse to get rid of him. I realized, "So that's why you never pursued me?" Andrew chuckled softly and replied, "I was afraid that doing the opposite would backfire. I planned to wait until you graduated to start. But before I could, I heard you were dating Devlin. The first time you two went out, I was sitting at the table next to you, listening for over an hour. After he safely walked you back to the dorm, I went to a restaurant and ordered an entire table full of liquor. That was the first time I drank myself senseless." Hearing this, my heart felt squeezed. Suddenly, Andrew buried his face in my neck. I reached up and cupped his face, giving him a light kiss on the lips. "Let me make it up to you a little." A brilliant fire immediately ignited in his deep eyes. Andrew pulled me down into his lap, as if surrendering everything. I gently licked my lips, leaning in to kiss him. Like a gentle ritual, under the bright moon, our love seemed more beautiful, pure, and radiant.